Two-thirds of people questioned think the use of AI will have a major impact on workers over the next 20 years. But in the same survey taken from the Pew Research Centre, still only a quarter of us believe it will have a major impact on us personally, which is amazing when you think how AI could supplant the jobs we do. Take the news from IBM this week. The CEO, Arvind Krishna, told Bloomberg he intends to stop hiring for back-office functions. 30% of that division, he says, could be replaced by AI and automation in 5 years. That amounts to some 7,800 jobs. That should concern us. But what if AI could fill the gap that is underfunded and under-resourced in the passport or the tax offices, in departments that process visa applications? Our next two guests think rules-based AI should be exploited and used more widely within government to help grow the economy. I'm joined by Sean Morgan. He is the Commercial Director at Aora Law, and Amanda Tickel. She's Head of Tax Policy at Deloitte. Thank you very much both for being with us. Sean, let me start with you. What is rules-based AI and how does it differ from superintelligence that has attracted all the bad headlines recently?
Good evening, Christian. Generative AI, you can think of as being predictive and creative in its nature, but rules-based AI is deterministic and applies deductive reasoning, where you would program a computer with a predetermined rules, and from that it'll derive fully reasoned outcomes that are explainable.
Right. So, Amanda, you work in a very complicated tax environment. How might AI be used in your particular field?
Well, I don't think the day is going to come anytime soon when tax professionals are replaced by AI, but there's definitely a place for it in professional services. We're constantly scanning the horizon for ways we can use AI and other technology to take away the more repetitive processes that just make us much more effective and make the job much more exciting. So there's definitely a place for it, but I think we will have a role as tax professionals for some time soon.
Right, but those jobs, Amanda, that you're talking about that could be fulfilled by AI, are those currently done by people, or is it a part of the business that is underutilised or underfunded?
I think for us, it's a way of making our processes much more effective when we use technology and AIs, and also helping our clients to actually adjust to this and make their decisions in a much more effective way.
And Sean, have you done anything that might prove the point on this? Something you could tell us about that maybe ordinary people might not have spotted?
Okay, so there are some really good user and test cases amongst our existing clients, one of which we've been able to use our technology to determine that Elon Musk is eligible for British citizenship, for example. Several months ago, there was very complex legislation passed, which is essentially to correct historical legislative unfairness, which was about through maternal lineage, you weren't eligible for British citizenship, and now you are. But it's very dense, very complex, even for barristers to work with. But we were able to determine that he is eligible for British citizenship. There are a number of other well-known US icons as well who are also eligible for British citizenship.
So I said at the outset that you think this is not being used fully as it could be right now by government. What areas, Sean, do you think it could be used to grow the economy?
I think it's most certainly applicable in tax, and we've worked hard at tax. We've released some products where people can automatically evaluate and determine very complex tax legislation. Real estate investment trust, for example, is some of the most dense and complex legislation that we have in the UK, and we can produce automated evaluations for that. There's other investment schemes that would attract overseas or investment into UK startups, such as the EIS scheme and SEIS scheme. These are really good candidates for rule-based law or computational law.
But Amanda, if you're streamlining processes using algorithms, you have a one-size-fits-all solution, and that's not always suitable or applicable for people, because sometimes, our environment, how we fill in our taxes, I guess, or what's applicable to us or not, that differs from person to person.
it's not very easy just to slot AI and new tech in, because actually determining tax decisions is a really factual, fact-based process, and it depends exactly what your circumstances are. And often in complex decisions, you know, on taxing people or immigration, you do actually need, people like to deal with people. So I think where we've certainly exploring using it at the moment is on that process side, where you can take away the repetitive processes that you need to do, and really focus on the difficult decisions, on the harder bit of tax, which is what makes us much more effective.
So I can see, Sean, then how it could be really useful in certain fields. Are you worried then that the stack of bad headlines that we've had for ChatGPT, superintelligence, the end of humanity as we know it, that could hold back some real progress?
Absolutely. So, I mean, the generative AI, ChatGPT, they seem to have stolen the headlines when there's technology AI that's in production now and available that governments, large corporations could be using, where you're looking for a deterministic outcome, where laws should be implemented fairly and consistently. You know, humans make errors, and they're inconsistent as to how they make decisions as well quite often. So this would just make sure that the laws of our land are implemented fairly and consistently.
Okay, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you both for that. Interesting.